DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is Dave Ternier and Jeremy Brech, really ready here to enlighten your world.
Woo! Enlighten.
Enlighten.
I like that. We don't know exactly what direction this enlightenment is going to go.
We have confidence and faith in you, gentlemen. Take it away, guys.
Thanks, John. Hey, thank you everybody for watching, and John, thanks for having us. This is a really exciting time, Dave. But why don't you introduce yourself first, then I'll tell everybody why it's so exciting. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't have a clue why it's so exciting. I'm Dave Ternier from north of the border, Manitoba, Canada. DJThought.com, which hasn't been published on in ages, but that's me. And my co-pilot on this magic carpet ride is.
Hey, I'm Jeremy Brech with DJ Jer Events and Lighting. I do DJ Jer Shop Time. I do stuff. There's a YouTube channel. You can go check that out. You know what, Dave? I was looking at my YouTube channel. I have about 300 videos of Shop Time videos. 300. I didn't even know I had that much information, to give. But it's free.
I haven't even hit 100 blog posts yet. Now I feel really less of a person. Thanks, buddy.
Okay, well, I was going to say, blog posts are usually harder to do, but really, video is. But anyways,
congratulations, 300.
Thank you. Yeah. So a big night tonight. John has put up with us for 1 year. This is our year anniversary. So we talked about this the last two shows. We're gosh, I think we're going on our anniversary here very soon.
Okay. So I'm the person in the relationship that forgot the anniversary. God,
that's okay. I got something, not just for you, but from you. So I'll just send you the bill of what I bought for myself. It is, it's 5 figures, but you know what? In Canadian, that's 10 figures. So it'll be.
You're gonna put a tariff on this at the border too, aren't you? Or something?
Yeah, that's probably true. But I did get you something for our 1 year. Because there's a couple reasons. Because you have been awesome to work with. I have always enjoyed, showing up on Wednesdays, knowing that I have an opportunity. Today, I think I was telling you that before I got on here. Today was nuts. It was so crazy. I'll tell you a little bit about what happened yesterday. But today we're doing the setup, and I was struggling with some things, and I'm like, I got to get this done. I'm not going to sleep if I don't get this done for our event tomorrow.
Right.
And they're like, well, why don't you just, stick around and get it done until, you get it done. If you're here till midnight, you're here till midnight. I'm like, no, I have to be on a video call at 9:00 tonight. And it was all good. But anyways, 1 year anniversary. As you know, I'm a huge Electro Voice guy. I love Electro Voice. And I know they're always good to everybody in this industry. We talked about that last week. Mike being a DJ, he's kind of has a little heart for us. And
yeah, well, and they were great to us with the CPDJ online auction too. They supplied us a pair of Evolve 50s to auction off. They're amazing, no question. Carry on.
Wait, I didn't see that. Apparently, I didn't get a chance to win. Anyways, so I have a commemorative Electro Voice hat, and I'm going to give this.
I mean,
yeah, like I said, don't worry about getting me anything because you technically did, and then I'm just going to send you the bill on it. But I would like to give you this hat because, again, Electro Voice is awesome to us in the DJ industry, and this is my gift to you. So here you go.
Oh, thanks, man. I really, really, really appreciate that. Wow,
Yeah.
my very own.
There you go. There you go. It fits you perfect.
That fits nice.
It looks good. It looks good. Well, happy anniversary, man. Happy anniversary. So since my day and my week has been hectic, I don't even know what our topic is. So help me out. I think we talked about it last week and I completely spaced it out on what we're talking about. So go ahead. What are we talking about today?
I may have forgotten the anniversary, folks.
Yeah.
The topic, one of our viewers from a couple of weeks ago, I believe it was, suggested that you and I talk about learning to be an announcer.
Oh yeah.
How have we developed the skills in how we use our voice and how we approach people in how we do, I guess, the vocal part of our job as a DJ, as an MC.
Gotcha.
I don't think we should limit that to just what we do as a performer either. I think we need to maybe discuss how we use our voice when it comes to not only being an announcer, but even in sales consultations or in planning sessions or in everyday conversations with vendors and that type of thing. It may seem like a boring topic to maybe a lot of DJs, but it's maybe responsible for more of my success than I've given it credit for. Yeah. And maybe the same as with you.
Well, and see, you're going to definitely have the advantage on this one because you actually took Mark Farrell's, Mark Farrell's announcer's class, correct?
I did.
Cool.
This is true.
And see, I haven't. So this is going to be awesome for me. I'm looking forward to it.
Well,
but no, I think you're right. I think this is a great topic, and I hope people understand there's a difference between an announcer and a master of ceremonies.
There is. I will say, for the sake of maybe this discussion today, that yes, let's talk about the announcer thing a bit. But the request came to me, I think, for us to speak about it within a broader context, maybe from someone who doesn't maybe necessarily understand that there is a big difference between announcer and MC. Yeah. So I think for the purpose of this conversation, we can let the two bleed together a little bit while still identifying for people that there are two very separate things going on.
Yeah, and I'll admit, like, I can't really pinpoint and say, oh, this makes me an announcer. So that's why I said I'm looking forward to hearing what you've learned in your announcer workshop. Sure. Some of the key things that you've kind of taken away from it. So I think I'm ready to be educated.
Well, probably. So let's get the definitions out of the way. The easiest way to understand the difference between an announcer and master of ceremonies is quite simply, most of us are used to a lot of the ceremonies that we host at a wedding reception. The easiest way, I guess, to differentiate what an announcer is an announcer is that voice that introduces Saturday Night Live. You never see the person. They're simply there to introduce the special guests that night, what have you. The voice that introduces the Academy Awards or the Country Music Association Awards, right? Tonight featuring Dierks Bentley, Jamie Bodie.
Jamie Bodie would do great.
Oh, Jamie's gonna love that if he ever sees this.
Let's see if Jamie actually watches the show now.
Yeah, but an announcer is just that person doing a special thing with their voice to make every one of those names, doesn't matter if it's 3 or 20, but as Mark said in the workshop, making every one of those names sound as if it's the only name they're introducing.
Yeah, cool.
It's said with that energy, it's said with that excitement, it's using inflection maybe at the beginning of the first syllable of their first name or at the end syllable or all of these different types of things.
Now, I can kind of give a little bit of kind of return in that. So you have, and you actually took this workshop with me, the Make a Grant workshop that Peter and Liz do.
Yep.
And that was one of the things, that was one of my big takeaways is where do you inflectuate your voice in the name? You know, where do you put the emphasis? Where do you back down? Where do you build? And I mean, how does Mark's workshop as the announcer's workshop, how does that differ from what you learned in Make It Grand or Take Your Stage?
Right. In Make It Grand, there was a lot of focus put on the writing of what you're going to say. As you're probably going to realize once I say this will make sense. With the announcing and engineering workshop that Mark and Rebecca put on, it's stripped right down to the basics because that's where Mark loves to start. We literally spent 2 days just using title and name.
Okay.
Mother of the bride, Teresa Dunn.
Got it.
Brother of the groom, John Hancock, whatever.
Yeah.
And where the inflection is placed, Mark's going to roast me if this is any bit incorrect, but where the inflection is placed isn't nearly as important as simply making the decision to make every name sound slightly unique.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Rather than it's all having the same monotone that everybody's gonna get bored of 3 names in, make every name sound like it's the only name you said.
And I like that. I notice that a lot when I'm doing training with my guys. So for those of you who don't know our businesses, Dave is complete single op. I'm a multi, and I have multiple DJs that obviously go out and do their thing. They're different levels. So at the training level, we're kind of building them as an MC. We're building them as, and again, I haven't taken the announcers workshop, but they haven't taken the announcers. So I don't want to call them announcers, but I have really gone deep into them as a master of ceremonies. So that way I know that they can go out there and they can run the reception. But that's one thing that I always catch my guys doing is it's always like this roller coaster. It sounds exactly the same. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the mother of the bride. I mean, it's so monotonous that you're right. People get sick of hearing what you're saying. Right.
So now that we have that definition out of the way, I do want to maybe circle back to maybe what it's. I mean, I think was it Silvio? I think it was that mentioned this. I think what he really wanted to know more was maybe how have we taught ourselves to use our voice in a way that maybe is very approachable and it comes off warm and this and that in our role for the MC work. What influences have? I suppose Rebecca workshops would be one, but are there any other influences or other ways in which you've learned to? I think some of it is innate, how we're wired.
Yeah.
That's the rabbit hole I guess I'd like to go down.
I think, I think we all notice different things. And the reason I say that is like when I listen to an announcer or a broadcaster, I can hear whether I don't want to say the inflection, but the voice they're using, if it's real or not. And that's where it's like, okay, this sounds like a monster truck rally. And that's one thing that I always tell the guys, they always try to dig deep for their voice, and now, that's not how we should be sounding when we're introducing somebody.
Right.
And the cool thing is like when my guys shadow me and they see me do an introduction, they see me do a welcome. Even when I do the introduction, when I say, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome your wedding party, it doesn't sound fake. It's like, hey, this is gonna be awesome. Right. And they get that. But if we do training before they've actually seen me personally, or they've shadowed me, then you can see that they're digging deep for this voice, and it's not natural. So yeah, I wish I could like point them to the announcers workshops and get those guys into some of those so they get it a little bit more.
I want to share something that might sound like a bit of a weird thing, and my guess is that 99% of the people watching this will not take this seriously. So I guess I challenge you, will you be that 1%? When I was in the announcing and engineering workshop, one of the really unique things that we learned about was the 4 different places from our body that make sound, and then how to use all 4 of those places to make different sounds. And Rob Ferre, who's a friend and colleague of many here, I'm sure, who's at the Salt Lake City, he was sitting next to me in the workshop, and he speaks up and says, "Oh, like Jim Dale does all the different voices in the Harry Potter audiobooks." And I'm like, "What do you mean? Jim Dale? No, what's his name again?"
I have no idea. I'm not a Harry Potter guy.
Oh, I think it's Jim Dale.
And
I said, "What do you mean the Harry Potter audiobooks?" He's like, "You've got to listen to the Harry Potter audiobooks that Jim Dale narrates. They're amazing." So I've read the Harry Potter books way back in the day. So, and this is going somewhere for all of you who are watching, just bear with me. So I listened to the first audiobook that this man narrates. And so rapidly did I become hooked, not because of the story, but Jeremy, the performance will blow your mind. There are dozens and dozens of main characters in the Harry Potter series of 7 books. He has a different, distinct voice for every single one of them. And what became really fascinating about it was he would go into a line that one person was saying, and before he would say the "said Harry" at the end, you'd know exactly who was already talking to you. Mm. It was amazing. So here's what I want to suggest to people. I'm now 3/4 of the way through reading the first Harry Potter book to my 2 daughters. And I'm working like hell to do all of the voices that I heard in the audiobook version. And it is causing me to stretch so much in how I'm able to use my voice. It's actually surprised me quite a lot. So
this narrator, you're saying this narrator takes on multiple voices as well?
Yeah. He does every voice. And there are some times you're like, "Is that the same guy?" Yeah, it is. I'll be damned. Wow. Huh. Whether it's Professor McGonagall, whether it's Dobby the house elf, or whether it's Malfoy with his long drawl of a voice, or whether it's Hermione Granger, who knows absolutely everything, and Harry, really, you should, and all of these, is unbelievable. So for me, an off-season exercise is going to be reading these books to my daughters, trying to really work on making every one of those characters sound different, because that's helping me at my events be a better MC.
Nice.
So who's going to be the part of that 1% that's actually going to take me up on this and do it? I'd love to hear it. If you just, I guess my challenge would be, take a listen to the first Harry Potter book. Jeremy, you too. Have you never seen the movies or read the books or anything?
I think I've seen the movies. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen the movies. I've never got into the books.
Okay. Well, I mean, some of the books get pretty long. Like some of them are 700-800 pages, and those audiobooks are literally like 40 to 60 hours in length.
Wow.
But I got through all 7 books in the span of like 2.5-3 months. Every second I was in the vehicle, I had them running. I was just blown away, really blown away. So take a listen to the first audiobook. I would love to hear if anybody does. And I don't even care if you listen to or like or enjoy the story. I'd love to hear people's response to how this man performs. It's truly a work of art. It really, really is. So that's my nugget for people, I guess, is all that. Now I'm gonna catch up from some of the comments here, Jared. Feel free to comment on them here as we go. Glenn, warmth and care in your voice comes from actually caring about them and their event, in my opinion. 100%, absolutely.
Is this that nut from Australia?
This is that nut from Australia. Hey, but this nut, Glenn's gonna laugh at this, and so are you. Somebody on Facebook the other day, I won't name him, was trying to reach out to Glenn for something. I don't remember what it was, but I get a message saying, "Hey Dave, who's that guy from Australia that looks like you again?" And I'm like, "Glenn Mackay?" "Yeah, that's it. Thanks. I was having a brain fart."
That's funny.
So yeah, but yeah, absolutely. Okay, any comments in the YouTube feed here? How does that relate to us as MC? Should we use different voices, or are you just showing the different options we have? So how does it relate to us as MCs? It gives you the ability to tell stories in different ways. Whether you're introducing a wedding party, I don't imagine you're saying exactly the same thing about everybody, right? So if you're doing love stories, this will come huge into play. But learning how your voice works and the ability to do different things with it will allow you to, whether you use those skills directly or not, will allow you to come off as a more prepared, more polished master of ceremonies when you need to use your voice for just the regular stuff. Right. I firmly believe that. That might sound like just blah, 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 but what's your take on that, Jared? Like, do you think this is completely out to lunch?
Yeah, no, I agree. I really don't have much more to say than what you've already said with that. I think we're both on the same page with that. I think you're right.
Got it.
Like I said, I don't have too much to say because you said it exactly what I would say.
Got it. Evan says nose, tongue, throat, and diaphragm. I'm guessing. Nasal, tongue, throat, and diaphragm. Yes, I believe those are the four. God, now I'm being put on the spot. What were the four parts of our body that make sound? I believe, Evan, yes, those were the four. And it was actually funny because I thought I would have no problem making sound from all four of those. Well, those were in that workshop. Know how much I struggled with the nasal one. Oh God, let's not go there.
I think that when I am hyping the crowd, kind of creating that energy, or not really yelling at the crowd, but one of the things that I notice that I run into is when I get about 3/4 of the way into the night, actually probably about halfway into the night, my voice is pretty fatigued. I don't use the vocal exercises probably as much as I should, but I know. But the thing that allows me to kind of get through a lot of that is just using my voice differently. So if I'm using like a certain tone in my voice, like, okay, I'm going to start losing my voice. Now I have to kind of switch to this other vocal that I use. I have success with that, but I just have to be careful not to overstress my voice. Because as an MC, it was stupid. So this last weekend I had a wedding and I was in the middle of my welcome and all of a sudden I felt like, I was like, oh man, I feel like I got something in my throat. And from there on out, I couldn't shake it. Like I couldn't use my full voice the way I needed and wanted to. So I almost had to kind of change my vocal tone from there on out. And I mean, it still came off natural. It just wasn't what I knew to be my voice, So that was kind of weird for me.
Interesting. I will say, Silvio, to address more of maybe what you wanted to know. I don't know how much credit I can give this, but I spent a number of years in furniture sales before I moved into DJing in a way that I do now. And I spoke to people all the time, of course, at that job. I mean, that was the job, was speaking to people, right? Yeah. And I maybe would suggest that, if you're an individual who hasn't had a job where you speak to people a lot, that's something you might want to consider. I don't know if you have that flexibility or not, person X who's watching this, but I will say the more you can get yourself around people and work on those people skills, for me, I really truly believe that being, an MC, a great MC, is as much about people skills as it is vocal skills.
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you this. So let me back up. So I told you I had a busy week. Sarah and myself, we actually went to Minneapolis and we spent the day out up in Minneapolis, and we actually had lunch, or we had dinner over at Dussault's place. And then last night we went to Maroon 5 in St. Paul. And man, talk about nonstop. Like, I guarantee every single person that goes to that concert is like, I know every single song. You cannot imagine how many hits they've had since 2002. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But they did the entire night. I knew every single song. Every single song. Yeah. Usually you go to a concert, you're like, oh, this one's new, or oh, this is filler, Right. But anyways, that was just kind of a side note. on our way here, it's funny because you talked about, talking in front of people and, kind of like this public speaking thing.
Yeah.
I heard on the radio that there's a petition going around on Facebook for kids in high school who want to ban public or the getting up and doing speeches in front of their class. They want to ban it because they feel like it's bullying. They feel it is bullying in the classroom by the teacher. Kid you not. Like, I could not believe this. I'm like, hold on. So you're taking away more social skills? I mean,
What?
really the only social opportunities you have, since everything is like, on the phone or texting or,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. And so there was this debate. The morning jockeys were kind of going back and forth, taking phone calls and all this stuff. Every single person was like, this is so stupid.
Yeah.
And it is the dumbest thing.
Wow.
But like I said, the reason I brought that up is because you talked about, get yourself in front of people and start, talking. And I think that's extremely important.
Yeah.
I also feel that, videotaping yourself when you're performing and watching yourself, and do you believe yourself? Does it sound exciting? I mean, seriously, does it sound exciting when you're doing the introductions? Would you stand up and clap? Do you have to tell your people, please rise and help me welcome your bride and groom? Do you have to tell them to do that? Or are you telling them in your voice to do that? Not like the actual words, please rise and help me welcome, but is your voice making them rise and help them welcome?
Right.
And I think there's a huge difference there. So what I'm saying is go out and record yourself doing your job as an MC, as a hype person, as an announcer. And if you're like, oh yeah, I sound great, then send it to a colleague, send it to somebody that you can trust and will be honest, and then see what they say.
Right.
That was a huge thing for me. When I did my Wed Guild application, when I got the critiques back, in my mind, I'm like, oh man, I sound so good. This is awesome.
Yeah.
And then they start telling you. So my biggest flaw was I said, all right, every time I opened a mic. I would say, all right, ladies and gentlemen, all right, it's time for the bride and groom's first dance, and granted, that was a long time ago, but I still look back at that and say, gosh, I was so sloppy. But it comes down to letting people allow you, or letting yourself to be vulnerable to feedback. Whether it's positive, whether it's negative, you have to listen to it, because if you don't and you think you're awesome, you're probably not awesome. If you're too afraid to show it in front of people.
Yeah. I also want to say maybe one more thing here, just before people get really depressed and yada, 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 and go, that's not me, that's not me, that's not me. I was co-hosting the Canada-wide DJ call last night. First one back after our break for the summer. It's a monthly call we do for Canadian DJs from across the country.
Sure.
And I really appreciated the honesty of Luca Miller, who I think many probably watching this know Luca. Luca's a frequent, site in Vegas during the conferences and what have you. Luca's a great guy from out in Ontario.
Yep.
And he said he does a lot of work with Liquid Entertainment, with Patrick Wozniak's company. And he said, look, we all got to stick to what we're good at. And he says, I'm not an MC type of guy. I'm more of a club. I'm the DJ guy. Whereas if people are looking for that MC person with that MC specialty, they book Patrick or one of the other fellows in the company. So I think, as part of this, and Silvio, I don't know you, so I don't know if this applies to you, but I'm speaking broadly to everybody here. Being well known as an MC may not be something that you will excel at. Much like becoming Jason Janai is not something I'm going to excel at.
Right.
So I think, while we have this conversation, I also want people to be real with themselves. Now, I don't want to say you necessarily know you yet, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. Stretch a little, figure this out, take a workshop or two. I still strongly encourage that. I'm not saying you should write yourself off right away and go, you know what, Dave's right. That's not me. I'm not giving you an out by any means. But I guess I'm saying just, I don't know, what am I saying? It's, I don't want people to chase something for an awfully long time that just maybe isn't going to work out for them the way they see. find that, you know, I think most DJs lean one way or the other. And while I used to believe, you know, that everybody had to lean both ways and do that really, really well and just train, I'm realizing more and more often that that's just not a reality for everybody. I mean, it certainly isn't for me.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I think we both see that a lot when people are always saying, "Gosh, you know, I can't do this, or I can't do this part of my performance." Don't try to force something that's not natural, and don't try to force something that isn't a good fit. And I think that's exactly what you're kind of pointing out. You know, I'm not like, I would love to be a club scratching DJ, but that's not me. And people, when they hire me, they're not coming to me and saying, you know, we've seen you as an MC and we've seen you DJ before. We'd really like to book you, but you really need to become this scratching DJ that we want.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that's just not who I am. And even like the way I dress. I mean, I wear my suit the entire night. My suit jacket never comes off. I don't care how hot it is. I don't care, you know, what I'm doing in the performance. If I'm out there jumping around, I've got my suit jacket on. And I mean, does a spinning, you know, a scratching DJ dress like that? No, probably not. It's a more laid back type of DJ. And that's just a different profile than, you know, who I am and what I do. And I think people see that. I think they get that.
Yeah, very true. Love this comment here on the YouTube feed, Day and Night DJs. I was a speech communications major in college, and my public speaking prof was brutal, but I owe him more for my skills than anybody else.
Wow.
Love that.
Nice.
Love that. So another person brings up Toastmasters. Yeah, so in case anybody hasn't heard, there is an online DJ MC Toastmasters group. I don't personally have the details, but you can reach out to, help me out, Jer. Vicky.
Well, Mitch and Vicky.
Mitch is part of it as well.
Oh my gosh, who is doing the online one? He's part of the Disc Jockey News.
And there's a bunch of them were in Milwaukee. I can't remember. Anyway, I will say it's out there if you want to become a part of it. Toastmasters.
Now, the difference between Toastmasters, though, Toastmasters is going to be, and anybody who's a Toastmaster, correct me if I'm wrong, they're going to teach you. You're a part of Toastmasters?
Yeah, a physical club here in my area.
Oh, they're more going to fix your. I'm sorry. They're more going to fix the times when you're sitting there going and you're not really connecting with people. I think that's where it's the most effective, is they help you be comfortable public speaking in front of people. Did you freeze or did I freeze? Dave. We lost Dave, everybody. Well, so that is what I have a feeling Toastmasters is. Welcome back.
All I heard was, that's what I have a feeling Toastmasters is.
I know, that's actually why I said that when you came back on. So correct me if I'm wrong. Toastmasters is going to help you fix your repetition. It's going to help you fix your ums and your uhs and they're going to help you connect a little bit better with people. Is that what I'm getting? Is that right?
Huge, yeah. And Toastmasters will teach you
And it could.
everything there is really about public speaking without being in a performance context, though. Okay. So it will talk about physical movement. It will talk about, obviously, the ums, the ahs. It'll talk about, it'll instruct on, putting together your words in a concise manner that makes sense. The sky's the limit with Toastmasters. There are so many avenues you can go with Toastmasters. And honestly, I've been a part of it for 2 years now, and I've not done a lot of speeches because I don't know, I'm not as committed to this club as I should be, is the honest truth. But it's something that I guess what I've really, really enjoyed about Toastmasters is seeing some of the individuals come into our club who are these petrified, shaking, holding their hands on the lectern at the front, what have you.
Yeah.
Come out a year later with this confidence that maybe I wouldn't have even predicted was possible.
That's cool.
Yeah. And honest to God, I'm thinking of people right now who fit exactly that definition. So if speaking is something you are very uncomfortable with, find a Toastmasters group. Maybe it's the online Toastmasters group, and maybe it's a local group in your area. Jump on to toastmasters.org or .com, whatever the website is, and you can punch in your zip code or your postal code, and it'll pop up all the Toastmasters clubs around you. You know, the city of Winnipeg is a few hours away from here. Just to give you an idea of how many Toastmasters clubs there are. Winnipeg's about 700,000 people, and I believe there are over 90 Toastmasters clubs in that city alone.
Oh.
Yeah. So the trick is with a Toastmasters club, and then I'll stop talking about Toastmasters, is you do have to find a club, though, that has people that will drive you, because Toastmasters is a very self-driven format. It is up to the skills of the people in the club. It'll really dictate how far you're going to go. There's an amazing Toastmasters club in Winnipeg that I wish I could be a part of, because it's full of some really incredible business people and some really, really incredible speakers. And that's the club you want to be a part of, because everybody in Toastmasters Club submits feedback and participates in all the different roles. So that's where you can really learn from. But I'm going to stop talking about Toastmasters now. We should talk about workshops real quick, though, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we can do that. So like I said, I have not personally been involved in the announcers workshop, but the one workshop, like I said, that I feel is kind of a good, I don't even know if I don't know if Liz and Peter do the Make It Grand anymore. Do they?
Hamilton, Ontario, and Winnipeg, Manitoba, this November, folks. Glad you asked, Jeremy.
Jeez, we did not plan that.
No, we didn't. No, true story. Make It Grand is coming to Winnipeg and to Hamilton, Ontario this November. They're 2-day workshops, and I've taken them twice. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah, no, that's like I said, that was one workshop. I really did enjoy that one. And I can tell you, here's the thing. When you take a workshop, you don't have to do it exactly like them. You don't have to be them. Exactly. And I think that's the thing that people are always like, oh, yeah, drinking the Kool-Aid and, announcing or being in master ceremonies like Mark Farrell. I can tell you there's guys in my market who have taken the silver workshops, the gold workshops, and they're not doing it like that. They're not doing it the way they were taught. They're just doing it. They're doing their thing. And I think that's great. They don't, and I don't do it exactly like Mark taught me either, but I can tell you, I did it the way I taught myself, or the way I learned. I'm being myself. And I think that is one of the most important things. Mm-hmm. So with the Make It Grand workshop with Peter and Liz, I don't go near into the sound effects. I don't think I've used a single sound effect in my introductions. Now, does it work for some weddings? Yes. Does it work? Maybe there's some weddings that do not want that. But me as a single person going out by myself, and same thing with you, it's hard to run the lights, run the sound bits, and be on the vocal mic at the same time, or be on the mic at the same time. So there's a lot of things that are happening. I don't have an assistant.
Yeah.
So I think when you go to a workshop, take away the things that are going to make you the best you. That's the biggest key I can say. And like I said, that I thought was a really great workshop. If you have an opportunity to go up to there after that workshop in November, I would highly recommend it. It's well worth it. I think every workshop is well worth it. There has not been one workshop that I said, gosh, wish I had my money back. I think they've all been great. I've really been happy with them.
Yep. Agreed. Yeah, the Marbecca workshops, of course, have been really instrumental as well, to answer people's questions about, how did you become an MC and all this type of stuff. They've been huge. Another weird thing that I think I heard in probably a Marbecca workshop, or maybe it was Entertainment Experience, I don't remember where, if you want to practice reading aloud, stories and what have you, check in with your local library and offer to read for any children's events they have on. You want to, they're a great, and I catch myself doing this with my girls, trying to see, do I have an audience? Are they engaged with me? Oh, they aren't? All right, I suck. I need to do something different with my voice. I need to make that next sentence really sound incredible. and then maybe I need to give it a pause at the end so as to interrupt just the noise that I've become.
Right.
So that's another great thing. But yeah, I think we've exhausted this topic.
Other workshops that, I mean, obviously, you know, the entertainment experience is always great. And that's going to be more in the storytelling. You know, he has a section in storytelling in there. That's Bill Herman's, and that's actually coming up in November, I believe, as well, right?
Yeah, it is. Entertainment experience is a 3-day or 3-day thing in Minneapolis. Yeah, so great. Yeah. Advanced. It pushes you really, really hard.
Oh yeah. And you know, for that workshop, I think you can really be at any level. You know, there's some of these guys like, oh, I've been doing this for 20 years. Man, I would love to take it again. And I've been doing this for 22 years now. 22 years now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can ever, I don't know if you'll ever really arrive. And I think that's a quote that I always get from Mitch Taylor. You know, you never arrive. You can always improve. And every single time you take a workshop, like I told Mark and Rebecca, I'm like, I would like to take the bronze workshop again. They're like, why would you want to do that? For the master ceremonies. And I said, because every time I go in there, I'm learning from other people in that workshop. And you're always taking what I'm doing and, you know, kind of figuring out, okay, this is working, this isn't working, let's change this, let's do that. So you're always growing, but I really love watching people and learning from them, whether they're awesome or whether they suck. And I can tell you, I sucked when I started. I don't know if you knew this. Well, I know for you guys, like it was rare to have the DJ as the master of ceremonies up there in Canada.
Yes.
For me, when I started a wedding, I never did a welcome. Never did a welcome until I took a Marbecca workshop. So it was always lining up the wedding party, get them, okay, announcement, here we go, you know, and you know, talking about the announcers thing. I never did an opening welcome. I would introduce the cake, and I was really good at introducing the cake because I would tell people this is a great photo opportunity, but just make sure that we're not interfering with the professional photographers. To get the shot. You know, it was that stuff that I'm like, oh man, I've arrived. You know, I'm awesome. Until you take that workshop and realize there's so much more that can be offered in a cake cutting. There's so much more that can be offered in a bouquet toss, in a toast from the father of the bride. So, like I said, I think there's so many great workshops out there. I think everybody should take at least one workshop going into 2019. If you can get it in before 2019, awesome. By our anniversary next year, our second anniversary, everybody who watches the show better have at least taken one workshop. That's my thoughts.
There you go. By the way, sorry, folks, I missed a whole bunch of comments on the Facebook feed. They're all gone now. Sorry, I can't see them, but I can see a few from Bill. Thanks for watching, Bill. And Bill says only one seat left open for entertainment.
Holy crap. He probably only has one seat for this workshop. I hope he's happy birthday yesterday, by the way, Bill.
Yes. Happy belated birthday, Bill Herman.
That was pretty cool.
Another trip around the sun.
Jeez.
Were you guys friends before this show? You're so different and so far away from each other, but work great together. Thanks for that compliment. Were we friends before? I guess you could say that.
We're still not friends.
but the hat. I mean,
well, I would, Dave. I would like it back.
You'd like it back?
You hand it back to me.
Do I have to?
Go ahead. Yep, right here. Perfect. Thank you. All right, guys. Hey, this is Jeremy with the. I don't know what this is.
You took my hat.
Sorry, man. I love it.
Wow.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I am DJ Jer here out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and DJ Jer Shop Time. Go check it out on YouTube. Hopefully there's some information out there that you can use. Great seeing you again. Dave, happy anniversary. Truly love you, man. Thank you.
And I'm Dave Ternier, without a hat, saying see you next week. Good night.
Have a good night.